Hollywood is Donald Trump's latest target in his tariff war. The president is threatening a 100% tariff on foreign films.
Trump posted on Truth Social on Sunday, the movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers away and studios away from the United States. Hollywood and many other areas within the USA are being devastated. I am authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representative to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again.
A White House spokesperson said on Monday, quote, although no final decisions on foreign film tariffs have been made, the administration is exploring all options to deliver on President Trump's directive to safeguard our country's national and economic security while making Hollywood great again.
Tariffs on films now.
This is like Oprah for me. Like, this is like, you get a tariff, you get a tariff, everybody gets a tariff. Like, how many?
It's breaking my heart.
And I know, I already know how you feel about tariffs, but like, what? I don't think, like, there was a piece that I read last night that Hollywood executives are actually like, wait, who does this benefit? Because like, it's supposed to allegedly benefit executives in Hollywood, and they're even confused. I mean, imagine if Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones is not shot in Iceland and Lord of the Rings not in New Zealand. Like, should we bring it to Colorado just because? Like, it's literally a green space. Trump is like harassing people that are just trying to make great art. And I do admit there are places that could bring down costs, like we saw Atlanta do, like we saw New Mexico do. And why
well,
Netflix
Atlanta has a film industry because they have a massive government state subsidy to film there that I am totally against.
Well, I'm totally for that. I think that
ridiculously bad.
Okay, but do you know why filmmakers are going overseas? Because there are, for example, in New Zealand, there are massive tax subsidies if you come film there and hire a certain amount of local crew.
Then fine.
So that's why people are
Go
getting
make
mad at
them there.
Dodge. So Trump actually has a point by trying to maybe bring states incentives to do this here, but trying to just tax people that do need to film overseas because they need a certain look is like absurd. And again, putting more people who've been broke for a long time because COVID and then Hollywood writer strikes, et cetera, he's bringing them even less work now.
Why can't we just, I mean, this is so, Trump on the tariffs is certainly him at his most distant from what I think the policy should be, but it just goes back to fundamental economics. Let the market decide where is the best place to film and make a movie. The studio will decide where it's most cost effective to do that, where they can make the most profit, and that this is not a process that needs to be directed by government whatsoever. You can tip the scales and say, well, if we're going to massively subsidize it, it'll be here, or if we massively punish it, it'll be there. Why? What is the benefit that serves? Because the taxes are paid, let's say if it's a tax, if it's a subsidy, well, those are taxes paid by, and I know this because Michigan, where I'm from, I'm from Detroit area, they, I think when I was in college, they moved forward with a film incentive to rival the Georgia one, because they wanted to have movies made in Michigan. But like, and again, it's not just a tax break. If it's cutting taxes, I'm all for it. They were actually, it was a subsidy, it was a direct payment, like a cash payment to make your movie here, to hire people here. And right, we all like the idea of hiring more local workers or local actors or whatever, but since it's a direct payment, the state had to raise the money from somewhere else. So they're taxing cab drivers and local businesses. They're taxing them more, taking that money and then giving it to a film studio to do a movie here. So it's not like you're reducing revenue and job opportunities in one sector of the economy in order to grow a different sector of the economy. So like, why is it more important to have the film studio instead of whatever businesses we're going to pay? Do you know what I mean? Well, it's just redirecting resources, saying, well, the market is directing them this way, we're going to direct them this way. It's not, it's destroying jobs here and creating jobs there. It's not a net gain of economic opportunity. Well, that is my critic.
It's like bringing, Trump announced the draft will be in D.C. in 2027. Like, I think bringing big events to your city, like a big filming, let's say they film Batman in Michigan or something like that, right? If they do that, then those cab drivers will have a lot more work because all the crew will be figuring out where to eat and figuring out how to get from the airport. And like, so even
But
if they
they
are
have to pay a
taxing
higher
people,
tax.
yeah, they're paying higher taxes, but throughout this time of year, your profits should go way up.
I'm
Like
saying,
when
but the market
a certain
directs
event is
that.
in a city, like the Taylor Swift tour, right? This is the same thing. Like
But
when
if you have to
bring-
pay, but if you have to tax those people to put the Taylor, you're only breaking even. I mean, this is
well, we don't know the exact numbers for taxes versus the subsidy versus how much that actual filming will profit and put into the community.
This goes into
People that are
pretty
videographers,
basic economic
photographers.
broken windows theory. Like if I pick up my coffee mug and smash it through the camera recording us right now, I've created a job for the camera repairman. But I've not created net economic activity because I cost this company money. So there's an opportunity for someone and a lack of an opportunity for others. I mean, this is right. I mean,
I think
you can always create work by destroying economic value. You essentially redistribute economic value somewhere else.
I
But
think
you
the
don't
goal
break
is that we
even
can
when you
figure
do
out
that.
other cities and counties and states to film in. And I think that that incentive can happen early on. But now, like you said, Atlanta is a hot spot. And sooner or later, if Atlanta gets rid of their credits and just goes to like even less of a credit, a tax credit or a subsidy.
They're all going to move elsewhere. That's what's
No, I think that maybe people will stay there. Tyler Perry is not leaving. And then other people, you know what I mean? He owns half of Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I
well,
think
good.
that people will-
Then we'll find out. We'll get rid of it and we'll see.
I just think that it's a short-term solution to figure out how people can film in the U.S. Like there needs to be incentives that make more sense to not make New York in Canada, which they do on film sets, look like New York instead of filming in New York. Well, it's extremely more expensive to film in New York. So maybe don't give out a subsidy, but find a way to make filming in New York or LA or anywhere else make sense for any production that doesn't want to go bankrupt.
Funny, the fact that they film everything in Atlanta. I watched like 9 seasons of The Walking Dead, which is not a very good show, but it's filmed in.
Did you watch Talking Dead also afterwards?
I didn't watch.
Okay, thank
so
God.
much.
I was about to say.
It's funny because the show is about the slow, inevitable zombies. It just can't be stopped. It's like a metaphor for the show itself. It was always close to getting good. Anyway, filmed in Atlanta, but the later seasons take place in Washington, D.C., in Alexandria, of all places, in Washington, D.C., and it's just like, it's clearly not Alexandria. They're like in a jungle. It's clearly the climate of like forested, jungly Georgia. They're always sweating through their clothes. Like it's just not Alexandria or Washington, D.C., but it's filmed there.
Sometimes you can tell.
Often you can tell. Well, it's funny whenever there's 24 shows that take place in Washington, D.C., where they attack the Capitol or the White House, and I'm always like, well, that's not where that building is relative to that metro station.
Nothing around the Capitol, just straight emptiness. Nothing around the White House.
There's one season of 24 where the terrorists, it's an African warlord, and they swim, I think, under the Potomac, and they dig into the White House from. It's so hilarious to watch. Wow. It's one of my favorite seasons of 24.
You're like, that's realistic.
I think it's season 7. That does it for us today on Rising. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're now available anywhere you listen to podcasts. See you back here tomorrow.